Raw was in Manchester, England last night. This was a taped show. So whenever it's a tape show, even though they're in front of a hot crowd, England's one of the greatest crowds that he has. London's probably the better crowd than Manchester, but they go to London usually like a month after WrestleMania. And then in the fall, they always go to Manchester. Those are the two shows they go to the UK. They tape a Raw and a SmackDown there. The problem is when it's a tape show, WWE feels like the ratings are going to be low. And that is true. The ratings are low, even though it doesn't really matter. The ratings are low every week, but it is usually they dip when it's taped. So they phone it in, and also when the crowd goes crazy, WWE can control it. So instead of having the crowd chant whenever they want, they edit it, and they always phone it in the UK, and it just really sucks. And the crowd was smaller tonight. I think that because of the show they put on is the reason why. So you have all the main roster, the Raw rosters on the stage, which I hate. I hate when they all have to be on the stage. Just like the worst shit. It just makes them all look like losers. They all look like non-stars. They're all on the stage, and Baron Corbin comes out, and it just makes me sick to my stomach. This fucking loser, this bum, has this top spot just because he's big and tall. They're trying to find him something. The guy is just fucking horrible. I think he's one of the worst wrestlers in the whole company. He talks about Crown Jewel. And he announces that Survivor Series, it's going to be the 5-on-5 Raw versus SmackDown. He's the captain, but he's not going to wrestle because he's the general manager, so he won't be wrestling. But he announces Ziggler, McIntyre, and Strowman are all on the team. And then he talks about the women who also have a 5-on-5 match. And then he announces their captain, which will be Alexa Bliss. She comes out and she is also, like they do with Alexa, the same thing we do with Corbin. She's not wrestling because she's injured. So I don't know what's going on with her. I think she was wrestling on the host shows. It's a concussion. I know it was. She had some symptoms. I think Sasha Banks also had some symptoms after a concussion. So they're both going through kind of the same thing. And Alexa, unfortunately, first she had to miss Evolution. She couldn't wrestle. But when she comes out, I don't know, I think she was wrestling. I don't know why she can't wrestle, but she's going to be there. The same role at Corbin is she's the captain, but she's not wrestling. They want her doing promos and stuff, and she'll be featured, but she can't wrestle. And as soon as she walks out, Sasha Banks just gives her a really dirty look, and she gave Sasha a nice look. It was funny. And Sasha Banks did an interview talking about Alexa Bliss, on WWE Network, saying she really likes working with her. And I don't know. I don't know what it is with those two. I'd like to see more of them interacting. I think They could have a really good feud, or even as a team. I think Sasha and Alexa would be better as a team than Sasha and Bayley. I'd just have them as a team. I think they could do comedy together. I think they'd be a lot more entertaining than Sasha and Bayley. I would do that. They're not doing anything. Ronda is going to be the featured star. She's going to feud with Nia. They're going to push Ruby Riott. Why not just do that? Send Bayley to SmackDown. Her and Sasha are a flop together. I think her and Sasha and Alexa would do well together. I have a feeling. I don't know. Anyway, she announces, she tries to make, she calls herself a natural born leader, and she's talking about she needs a killer instinct, and she's ripping into the SmackDown. She's great on the mic, and she announces it's going to be a match with Sasha, Bayley, and Natalya against the Riott Squad rematch from Evolution, which we have seen that match 10,000 times. I'm surprised they had a good match, Evolution, because we saw it 2 million times on Raw. They actually did have a good match. And as soon as she wants to make the match, she gets interrupted first by Kurt Angle, who wants to be on the team, and him and Corbin go back and forth. And then Braun Strowman comes out, and he can't run. Something's up with Strowman. I think his knees are shot. He wants to go for Corbin, and then they're trying to keep announcing, and eventually the match finally happens. Eventually, we finally get the 6-woman tag, and the whole thing is with Natalya and her sunglasses. So the whole story of the match is that Natalya she brings her father's sunglasses, Jim the Anvil Nitrate sunglasses. She brings them to the ring, and I'm thinking to myself, this would be, okay, I know what they're going to do. They're going to have one of the Riott Squad smash her glasses, and that's how the match ended. It was a very long match. It went 17 minutes. They're having this long match, this rematch, and then all of a sudden, Natalya has Liv Morgan in the short period. Ruby Riott gets the sunglasses, and she smashes Natalya's sunglasses. Just smashes Jim's the Anvil Nitrate sunglasses, and then she just starts to cry, and Sasha and Bayley console her, and that's how this ends awkwardly. It was just so shit. I mean, if you're going to do an angle like that, people say it's disrespectful. I think Jim Neidhart, he's old school. It's kind of like with Paul Bearer. I'm not a fan of what they did with Paul Bearer, when CM Punk and The Undertaker, that feud, but he would definitely be up for that. He would. So I don't have a big problem with it. I just wish they would have established the sunglasses before, they just did. Now no one cares. I don't know what they're doing with Natalya and Ruby. It's just a waste. To get heat on Ruby Riott, I don't like it. They show Strowman looking for Corbin. He's still pissed off. So it's Jinder Mahal versus Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews win. They show Rollins coming out. Rollins comes out, he's calling out Ambrose. Corbin appears on the intro and announces he has to defend the tag titles in the handicap match against the Authors of Pain. So Rollins has a good showing. They have a good match, but eventually Authors win. Razor and Akam are the new champs. Good. They can be good champs. I think they'll face the Bar at, Survivor Series probably. I'm happy the Authors are champs for sure. Ambrose makes his way through the crowd. He's calling out Rollins. And he hits him with the DDT. They show something with Renee. It was just really awkward. They show Becky's comments to Ronda at SmackDown. I'm so fucking sick of what they show with Baron Corbin. All they do, it's whole shows about Baron Corbin. He's getting his spot. He's fucking horrible. I'm just so sick of him. He's a champ. He's one of those guys, when I see him, I want to change the channel. I can't stand that guy. He's like my least favorite guy in the whole show. He's fucking horrible. He's a fucking bum. He's a bum. He's like a football player. If you watch football, that a team drafts high and they have so much regard for him and they keep giving him opportunity after opportunity because he was drafted highly, but he fucking sucks and he can't play. That's the thing. And he gets spots of other guys who are drafted later who can play. He keeps getting his fucking spot because of where he was drafted. In WWE, like, they drafted him as like a first round pick. That's how they view Baron Corbin. And he's fucking horrible. He's a fucking bust and he's holding the fucking team down because this fucking loser is still on the goddamn team. He's still getting a starting opportunity over these other guys who are behind him, who are better. I'm so fucking sick of Corbin. He's fucking horrible. It's just, they have so many of the guys and they finally give up on them and they usually leave the company soon. Just so sick of Corbin. He's horrible. So Ziggler comes out and he's ripping into Shane McMahon and he has a match with the Dolphin. This is just horrible. Elias won. I don't know why I had such a bad match. Elias isn't too bad at the ring, just the match sucked. Kurt wants to be captain of Raw, and he's cutting a promo, and the way they buried him is terrible. So Ronda Rousey comes out. She's all smiling. She has this huge smile on her face. She talks about Becky Lynch. The fans chant Becky, and she holds the mic up like John Cena does when he's getting booed. That's kind of a John Cena trick. I'm sure he taught her that. And Ronda here is... she's cutting a promo. I didn't like it. She seems way too hard. She keeps talking about like how when Becky was like rodeo clown and stuff like that, Ronda was doing this. She was in judo in the Olympics. She was the UFC champion. She had this dominant reign as MMA, one of the most dominant reigns in MMA history. She said the most. I don't agree with that, but it was extremely dominant. It's come on, the competition. You can't compare Ronda's reign to me. Just as an MMA fan, I can't even look at Ronda Rousey in the same stratosphere as Anderson Silva when his reign happened. He was champ for like 7 years and he was destroying really tough guys. And George St. Pierre, who had maybe the hardest opponents for a champion, he was champ for a very long time, like 6 years, and his opponents, every one of them was just brutal. They were just brutal. And John Jones, he's the best of all time actually. His opponents are all brutal. Daniel Cormier, it's like, I don't know. I'm an MMA fan. I had to go there. I can't look at her because of her competition, Fedor, back in Pride. But anyway, Ronda's cutting a promo. She talks about she's a natural-born killer. Yeah, NBK. She's rips into Becky, says she's the baddest bitch on the planet. Nia Jax comes on. I hate Nia Jax. She is fucking horrible. I don't hate her as a person, but she is fucking horrible. She's abysmal. She's a horrible wrestler. We all know why she's getting this opportunity. The only reason she won that fucking match at Evolution is because of who was in the audience, The Rock's mom, Ata Johnson. She's there because of The Rock's mom and her relationship with The Rock, and The Rock might have agreed to a WrestleMania match. That is the only reason Nia Jax is being pushed. She is horrible. She's horrible in the ring. She gets no reaction. She's not over. She was over earlier this year. I'll give her that, but she's not over in the ring. She's not over right now. She's not over with the fans. She's not. Ember Moon was so much more over, and they've killed Ember Moon. She should have won that battle royal. Even you could have easily had Ember Moon get built her up as a big star. She goes to face Ronda. We all know she's going to lose, and she loses, but she puts up a great fight. Ember Moon's a bigger star. They could have made her really well. And she was going really over, and they're going to kill her because she's not. She doesn't have the family connections. That's all it is. She just doesn't have those family connections that Nia Jax has. That's the only reason she's being pushed. I can't stand watching her. She's just horrible. And Tamina is the worst wrestler ever. Now, Nia beats Ember, and then after the match, Tamina comes on. They both beat the shit out of Ember Moon. So here we go. Ember Moon's unburied. It's Nia and Tamina as a top heel tag team. I don't want to see them being pushed. They're both horrible in the ring. I'm sure they're going to maybe they might even get to the first ever women's tag titles. They'll have Trish and Lita. They'll have Sasha and Bayley. On SmackDown, you have the Iconics, you have Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, I guess. I guess you have enough teams to do this division that they want to do. Naomi and Asuka are a team now. Riot Squad, you have them. So you have enough fat teams. But I don't know. Those two, I'm afraid they're going to get a huge push because of who they're related to. So Finn Balor comes out, he talks about Bobby Lashley. So yeah, how many fucking times on Raw do I have to watch Finn Balor against Bobby Lashley? And on the same damn week, it's like Sasha Banks and Bayley with a partner against the Riot Squad. How many fucking times have we seen this? It's damn Groundhog Day. Lashley wins. Dave McIntyre come out, he beats down Balor, and then up next is Kurt and Drew in the main event. So winner gets to be the captain. They buried him. I hate this. I hated this fucking match. This ruined the show. This show sucked. This was just a burial of Kurt Angle. Why? They would never treat a legend like Kurt Angle like that. They think of Kurt highly. You know, they had him headline the Hall of Fame a couple years ago. So, like, it's not like they think of him lowly. I mean, if he was going to be fired, maybe. But why are you doing this to Kurt Angle? Why? I mean, he's such a legend. I hate when they bury legends. That's one thing you hate with WWE. It sucks when they just use legends for heat for the younger guys. It's not like they have a match with them and they beat them. That's fine. But like, they just use them for heat in an angle. It's just like, with Kurt, I'm thinking to myself, why are you doing this? I mean, you want to push Drew heavily. I get that. Maybe Drew might be the top guy. I don't know about Braun. Braun has something with his knees. I think his knees might be shot. I'm telling you, I'm going to call that. Something wrong with Braun Strowman's knees. He's not going to be the top guy. It might be Drew as their top guy as a replacement for Roman Reigns. But I'm thinking to myself, why do you have to use a legend like Kurt Angle and just like bury him like that? Like, they do this with legends all the time, and you know they don't do it usually to legends who are great wrestlers like Kurt. They usually do it with older guys and use them for heat. But here with Kurt's still a wrestler, he still wants to wrestle. That's all they're going to do with Kurt Angle. It just sucks. I don't know. I hated this. They had Drew McIntyre beat the shit out of Angle. Had some of the angles to make him tap out with his own ankle locks. They're going to push Drew big, but it was bullshit how they treated Kurt Angle last night.